Would Love, Simon be considered young adult?
Young Simon is in the young adult section where most of my books are that I get.
Now, I wanted to ask this question because I know you read a lot of young adult books.
Yes.
And a lot of my friends know that I now read some, and it's like opened the floodgate of like, oh, you read this? And then people are like, oh, no, it's okay, I do too. Like, it's weird that some people don't like talking.
So one thing that I will let you know, just because you're slowly coming into this realm, but young adult is the biggest genre currently that people are selling from.
Okay.
So what art authors are doing is they're writing a book, and it might not be young adult.
Yeah.
And they're labeling it young adult so that it'll be placed on there so that people will get it.
That makes sense, because some of them I've come across where I was like, whoa, dang.
Yes.
This is
so all those that have a
mature.
little bit of raunchy shit in it, you're like, wait a minute. Like
these are supposed to be high schoolers. Why are they doing those things?
Yes. So they weren't supposed to be labeled as young adult, but because that is the highest, most revenue genre,
that's what everyone's
authors
going to.
And their publishers are saying we have to put this as young adult.
So, and I do feel like it's the biggest genre, which always seems like the smallest part of Bookman's. That's gone. Barnes and Noble.
Bookman's is still there.
Is it still there? No, it's not.
Bookman's?
I mean, Booksman. Sorry,
You meant
I
Borders.
was thinking Borders.
I got you though.
Oh my god,
I got
Borders.
you.
Remember Borders?
Oh, I remember Borders.
So like you go in and you go to Barnes and Noble, and I feel like young adult is like kind of small, but then it seems like everyone does read them. But then I'm wondering, like, what if you're not wanting to read young adults? Are there other genres that people can get into? And like, can you give some examples of like genres in a book that would be a good like transition or like dipping your toe in the water?
Yes. So
because I don't read enough.
One, everybody does young adult right now. That's one of the biggest genres. And the thing that you can find in young adult is you've got your teen angst, you've got your young love, you've got your
supernatural
college, you've got your
paranormal
sci-fi, you've got your real life situation. So it just depends because there's such a huge array from one end to the other that you could go there and find something. Now, I love sci-fi.
I was going to say, to make it easier outside of young adult, what are your favorites?
I love romance and I love sci-fi.
Okay.
Sometimes with romance, you can get a little sticky because you get into those really, really old school romance where you're like, oh, my grandma used to read this.
I personally love those.
Yeah. Some of them are okay.
I like the smut, though. Are you talking about Pride and Prejudice, though?
So that's
romance?
That's not romance.
Okay.
So
I never read it.
Perfect.
It's like, don't hit me.
Have, but it's not that great.
Okay.
But so romance, you can have some that are a little just weird. I'm not a huge fan of, I think her name's Sylvia Day. But she has great ones that are like, so again, this may be something that we'll have to deep dive.
Yeah.
Because let me just tell you, if you are interested in romance, there's different types of romance, such as boss, there's also father kid, stepfathers.
Wait, this is getting weird.
I'm telling you. So if you have never gone into actually seeing what they have in there, so 50 Shades of Grey. Okay,
that's probably pretty much.
That's boss.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
as you're looking at it, it's more of like he is going to control the person. So if you like more of those, she's very like, oh, protect me. There's that genre of romance. Then there's
like you're saying this and I'm like going back and remembering like the ones that my mom would get, and then she'd give me those like, what are the dime ones. And like when you're saying it, I'm realizing like how many of them are like boss. Yeah. Because the girls are like stolen by pirates or whatever they're at, and they're usually like they're supposed to be like strong women, like, oh, I can't believe you kidnapped me, but they kind of end up like the guy's like, shut your mouth, you like it, and she's like, hey, I do. It's interesting.
What happened to 50 Shades? She was like super strong-ish,
and then I'm not going to sign that contract.
Yeah. Oh wait, butt stuff. Yes. So
that's what got her on there.
Yeah, she's like, what's a butt plug?
I'm not doing any of this. Oh, butt stuff? Sign me up.
There's cowboys. So if people like cowboys, there's a bunch of them about just cowboys. I get stranded on the side of the road and this cowboy just came up. Oh! Yeah. See? So that happens. But it also is a part of sci-fi.
I've read some weird sci-fi romance.
I've read some weird sci-fi romance as well.
You take a step back and you're like, I just read that.
Yeah. Yep. But sci-fi has different types of like things too. Do you like space or do you like fantasy?
Heck, yes, I like space.
Right? But I am more fantasy where Steve is more space.
Yeah.
So I like, Mists of Avalon and Name of the Wind, where some people really like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe and things like that. That there's so many different ranges in parts of the library, the bookstore, anything. So you have to start and that's why people read so much, is because I feel like it's like dating.
Yeah.
So you get a book and you absolutely love it, and that book breaks up with you. Then you're devastated and you don't want to get out there, but you have to, and you have to live once again. And then all of a sudden you start reading another one and I'm like, damn, this is not as good. Well, my friends told me you were good, so
you are exactly right. That is a good analogy.
Yeah.
You're going on dates and you're kind of like blind dating, because I have a hard time blind dating books.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't really know.
You don't
want to
invest in it. Do I even want to do this?
Yes, I don't want to invest it. I don't want to go into
I lost all my friends in this one.
Yeah, I don't want to do that commitment. So then I have all these friends who are saying, oh, this book, and they're all young adult. And I'm like, well, I kind of want to look into this genre. Mm-hmm. And I end up going back to the ones
the young adults.
Well, not young adults, but I end up going back to books and rereading the ones that I enjoy.
Yes.
So I go back to that toxic relationship.
Yes,
that you
exactly.
know is gonna end.
It's gonna always disappoint you because they either are ended or something happens that you didn't like it happening.
Or it's you go back and you reminisce on the relationship. You're like, oh, well, that was fun.
The other thing too is a lot of times when I start a new book, there's so much writing on that already, because I'm like with Simon. Mm-hmm. I was like, Will Grayson. Yeah. Freaking badass book. I want it to be like that. Maybe that's why I was disappointed, because it didn't align. It wasn't the same book. And then there's mystery books. I actually love mystery books, but certain ones. So Janet Ivanovich, One for the Money. Mm-hmm. That's probably one of my favorite series because it's so intricate, and she takes her time to follow the Chicago Police Department and put their stories in hers. So while she's out there on the field, she'll actually go and put these mysteries or like bounties and things that have happened in the Chicago PD into her book. Mm. But now it's funny because the girl that is the main character, Stephanie Plum, she is ridiculous. She's a horrible bounty, she's a bounty hunter, and she hooks up with an ex-prostitute named Lula, who always is on a new diet and always is trying to do different things. And she's just this funny, big old African-American chick.
Interesting.
So they're running once from these dogs.
Yeah.
But she was on the new Atkins diet. And so she has all this meat in her purse. And Stephanie's running just drop the bacon. She's like, that's my bacon. It's just really funny while they're trying to catch perps. It's just a really good series. But, there's times also that you need new things and different things. So I like going and jumping around.
I think I'm just kind of nervous to do it because, I know there's
you just have to ask.
Yeah.
Now, I think also you need friends that actually read more than just young adult, which I'm right.
Yeah, you're probably the only one. Otherwise, I have a friend who reads The Shining every time she's in between books. And I was like, really?
That's an interesting one. That one's scary.
And she said that.
Carrie is also scary to read.
But she said that, and I did not anticipate her to say that. Of all the books, I'm like...
Have you read it?
No. But hearing her say that she goes back every time, it's like her breakup boyfriend. She goes back to that book every time in between her books. She's like, I read this book, I go back to The Shining, I read the next one, I go back to The Shining. And I was like...
Interesting.
And then I'm sitting there going, I never read it. Maybe I should.
Yeah.
For someone that's going back every time in between, I thought it was very intriguing.
Yeah. And just make sure, because sometimes I think a lot of it is emotionally where we're at. Mm. So for certain people, if she falls onto that one for some reason, there could be a reason why. For me, I like teen angst books because I'm always trying to fix that hurt part of myself that I went through high school in.
Yeah.
And so it always is something, even in TV series, that I like really get drawn to.
We're getting
because
deep
I can relate.
now, guys. Getting deep.
Yeah.
For
sure.
Yeah, because the only thing, like, I feel like if I was gonna sit there and recommend anything, the only thing I can really recommend as far as like books is like, well, I've read Children of Dune. I really enjoy that stuff. And then for me, because a lot of my time is based off of video games, when I started going into the book genre, it was based off that. So it's like I read all the Halo books, which were really good. And it's kind of because it's like diving into a universe I was already comfortable with.
Yeah, and you're familiar with and know the characters. So it's
again,
you're like trying to get.
Do you feel like that's a good way? Like if you are just trying to like branch out and start reading more books in general, that maybe you do start with a universe that you're comfortable with?
Yeah.
Or like go, you know what, F it. I'm just gonna go somewhere and go hard. Like just get one from each genre and like find something.
I wouldn't do one for each genre. What I would do is I would get on Goodreads. This is what I do. I get on Goodreads. I have a good following that I like already have, and I watch what people are reading.
Okay.
I watch reviews. I'm a huge review person. So if that book hits over 4 stars, then I start reading the reviews.
Okay.
If it doesn't go over 4, it's not worth my time. Now, if it's recommended and it's under 4, I read reviews.
Okay.
There's one guy that really does great reviews. There's a couple of people that I watch that have really lengthy reviews. They really have similar likes that I do.
Yeah.
And then I know that I'll like it and have that same experience that
and
they
you
did.
rely on that more so than like those, because I'll sit there and get bored and I'm sitting there going, oh, I want to know like what to read, and I'll look and Google top books of 2019.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Right. So you're saying that's like Goodreads is like, if you really want to know what's going on, that's where you go.
Yeah.
That's where it's like legit. You're getting really good reviews. You can get an idea. Now, are you also suggesting if a book doesn't hit over 4 stars, probably just past it?
I do, unless I see it floating in Goodreads a lot.
I think
then I feel like I should read some of the reviews to see what people say, because people are very harsh on that.
I think because we only have 10 minutes, probably gone over, but I think for next week we should pick our top 2 or 3 books
of each genre.
Just top 2 or 3 books in general, and I'm curious to find out what the reviews are on Goodreads and see like if there's a difference of like, oh, I like this book, but it's utter shite on like there.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting. I'm curious to see. We'll have to do that next week.
That, and we should probably do it where we pick our top favorite books and see if there's a correlation with different genres. Like, why would I like this one over this one? Because Name of the Wind is science fiction or fantasy, but it's very similar to Harry Potter, which is young adult. But they're very, very close to what they're doing.
I just kind of want to test your theory on this and find out like
Name
if
of the
that
Wind
works.
Yeah, Name of the Wind is actually, I think, better written than Harry Potter. Yeah. I think he's a better writer
she just
than
threw down.
Yeah.
It's
the way that I just am fascinated by how he's written it. So
well, we're gonna have to deep dive and do. We might have to do one podcast like all
completely
about.
Of Paperback
yeah,
Mountain.
we might have to do that because the more I'm getting into it, I'm like, we might really need to like deep dive.
It's a good one. Well, let's get to race class alignment. Oh,